Ariel Helwani is trying to manufacture a beef between Islam Makhachev and Belal Muhammad. Immediately after UFC 315, he was already starting to sow the seeds, and quite frankly, it's embarrassing. But that's not it, because he's also already setting the narrative, demanding Islam Makhachev, he needs to relinquish his lightweight title, because obviously we are getting Jack Della Maddalena versus Islam Makhachev for the welterweight title next, or at least that's what it seems. But Ariel is getting out ahead of the narrative, because it appears, if you watch my UFC 317 video from yesterday, I'll link it down in the description. If you haven't, I encourage you to go watch it. It appears as the most likely headliner for UFC 317 is Charles Oliveira versus Ilia Topuria for an interim lightweight title, and Ariel's already getting out ahead of it and clutching his pearls. Ilia vacated, so Islam has to vacate, which is a narrative a lot of fans are going to jump on. I think my guess is it's probably going to be a pretty popular narrative. We're going to jump out ahead of it ourselves and break down why that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard in my entire life. But also we're going to break down this manufactured beef that Ariel keeps taking subtle jabs at Belal and Islam, trying to act like, oh my God, they hate each other. Oh, Ariel's taken the narrative that a lot of the Dagestani Muslim hater fans have taken. Man, Islam was preying on his downfall. Islam was preying on his downfall. So we're going to address that and also expose Ariel basically for a blatant lie. It could have been a mix-up, but a blatant lie regarding Islam Makhachev and Belal Muhammad. We'll get to that in a second. Let's start off with his post-fight, the uncrowned post-fight. I'll link this down in the description. I'm going to show you two different videos. The immediate aftermath of UFC 315, as well as his Monday show from earlier today. We're going to look at clips from both those. I will link them down in the description if you want to check them out for full context. But let's start off with Ariel already. I see it coming a mile away. I've been talking about this for a bit, not too crazy, but already sowing the seeds of, yeah, man, Islam's not a good friend. Islam's not a good friend. He was praying for Belal to lose. Or maybe Islam was just saying, well, the welterweight title's up for grabs. I want to be welterweight champion, but I'm not fighting Belal because we've trained together before and we are friends. So if he lost, maybe I'll go fight the guy he lost to. Maybe I'll get revenge for my friend. That could be the narrative Ariel's pushing. He could say, man, Islam wants to get revenge for Belal. Islam wants to get the exact revenge on JDM for Belal. That could be the narrative, but instead Ariel's already starting to push that sneaky snake narrative. Listen to this.
Revolving in front of us, because Islam Makhachev literally seconds after the fight, which is an interesting one because he wants this so badly, and yet his quote-unquote friend just lost his title, which to me is strange. Anyway, he just tweeted,
it's strange. He wants to be double champ. He didn't tweet out praying to Allah that Belal Muhammad loses his belt so I can fight for it. It's a competition. It's the fight game. I mean, it doesn't make any sense. Like, he can't want to fight for double champ status if the opportunity arises. He can't tweet out time to be second champ, time to be double champ. So Ariel already starting to sow the seeds there, but it gets worse in the Monday show. But we'll get to that in a minute.
time to become double champion, hashtag inshallah, let's go. And so I suppose, as we had all been predicting, if Belal lost, Islam would move up and he would challenge JDM, who was asked, by the way, good question from DC. DC asked him about the fight against Islam. I loved his response. I'll get him back for Volk, which was great, seeing the Australian unity.
So JDM wants to avenge somebody Volk lost to, but Islam, in a way, wants to do the same thing, but somehow Ariel's praising JDM for getting revenge for Volk, but Islam getting revenge for Belal. That's not good. Like, Belal's going to get an immediate rematch. Ariel knows that's not possible. Ariel knows that's never going to happen. Ariel would cry if that ever happened. So it's good when JDM wants to fight someone that Volk lost to, who Volk will never fight again. But it's a big deal that Islam wants to fight JDM, the guy who beat Belal. Somehow that's a betrayal of friendship. And again, I know that wasn't that much from Ariel there, but wait till I show you Monday's show, which we're going to get to in a few minutes.
But the question that now remains is, and it was made a little complicated yesterday when Islam said, yeah, I'll move up, but I ain't vacating the title. Ilia saying, I ain't fighting for no interim belt or number one contender belt. What the hell does that mean? Personally, and I'd love to ask you, okay, let's just assume Islam is going to move up now to 170. He has to vacate the title. If the dude who is sitting there waiting for a title fight at 155 just vacated his title, the 155 title has to be vacated if Islam moves up, no?
Is that not the dumbest thing you guys have ever heard? Well, if Ilia Topuria just vacated his title to move up, wouldn't Islam have to vacate his title? Like, that's apples to oranges. Ilia Topuria, let's actually, I just happen to have his resume up. Let's see his championship run. Okay, so he won the title against a softened up, brutally KO'd Alexander Volkanovski, forced to turn around on short notice. He brutally KO'd Volkanovski to win the belt. And then he defended the belt one time. One title defense in a lower weight class. Islam Makhachev, let's see what he has. Okay, he won the belt against Charles Oliveira. Okay. Won the belt against Charles Oliveira. 1, 2, 3, 4 title defenses. 4 title defenses. And 2 of them are against the pound for pound number 1. And I think Volkanovski was ranked pound for pound number 2 in the second fight. Oliveira was top 5 pound for pound when he beat him for the title. Then he beat Dustin Poirier. And the Renato Moicano, I get it. It's not a great win. Moicano's a scrub. He treated him like a scrub. And it wasn't his fault. He was supposed to fight Arman. So Islam has 4 title defenses. Ilia has 1 title defense. Ilia's been champion since 2024. And Islam's been champion since 2022. Oh, let's also factor in the fact that Islam is pound for pound number 1 in the UFC right now. If he wants to keep his belt and go up to welterweight and attempt to become simultaneous double champ, he has earned that right. And let's not act like he hasn't fought since last summer or even last October like Ilia has. Islam fought in late January. So to act like he couldn't fight in the fall of this year for the welterweight title just for the opportunity to be simultaneous double champ and then maybe even relinquish the lightweight or go back to lightweight and fight Ilia if Ilia ends up fighting Charles Oliveira for the interim title, which may very well be the headliner of UFC 317, to act like that's just unreasonable, especially with all is going on with John Jones right now in the UFC, to act like Islam hasn't earned that opportunity is outright delusional. Let's listen to some more of this because Chuck Mindenhall, by the way, shout out MMA Beat. Chuck Mindenhall agrees with Ariel here.
I agree 100%. I mean, and I don't understand how the UFC would give, in this situation with 3 divisions basically being affected over the course of this, why they would give Islam, all power over the situation. I really don't know why they would do that.
Champion since 2022, pound for pound number 1, and also has 4 title defenses. Where were these people? And by the way, I don't even dislike Chuck Mindenhall. I like Chuck Mindenhall, the guy in the hat from the MMA Beat. Where were these people demanding Volkanovski relinquish his belt when he went up to fight Islam? I never saw that. By the way, also, there's not a true number 1 contender at lightweight right now. So you can factor that in as well. But let's continue listening because I'm using Chuck Mindenhall and also Ariel jumps back in a little bit as a conduit to what I see happening. I'm telling you, I see these narratives sprouting up as soon as they announce 317. If it is, in fact, an interim title fight between Topuria and Oliveira, these narratives will be running rampant. So I figured I'd get out ahead of the game here.
It doesn't make business sense. And Ilia Topuria, arguably, I mean, I know Islam does numbers. It's crazy. Like it seems like he's a little quieter, but he does numbers. But Ilia Topuria might be one of the biggest stars in the sport. So I don't know how you're going to say that his fight with Charles, if this is what ends up happening, is not for a belt.
Because Islam is the pound for pound number 1 with 4 title defenses. And also Islam is a bigger star than Topuria. I feel like the media tries to manufacture these guys as, they're mega stars because Topuria is doing interviews and he's talking a lot. Ilia is one of the bigger names in the sport right now, but people have to stop acting like he's a Conor McGregor in his prime level of star. It's just simply not true.
No, it's got to be.
It's got to be, right? Like, it just doesn't make sense. And you're not going to create a sort of interim belt while he's off on a lark. It doesn't make sense to me. So I feel like that he would have to vacate that belt.
By the way, I currently rank the most exciting or the sexiest fights that the UFC can make right now. Number 1, Jones Aspinall. Number 2, Islam Ilia. Ilia has an incredible fan base. Or what he did at 145 was unmatched. But I got to be honest, after tonight, I'm very excited to see JDM versus Islam. It's not quite Ilia. You're not? You think he gets
No. So this.
Did you hear that, Ilia glazing? This is a grown man. Like a 40, 50-year-old grown man. Man, Ilia, his aura and what he did at 45 is unmatched. Are these guys watching the same sport? He has 2 good wins in his entire career, and the Volkanovski win could have an asterisk on it. To act like they're acting like Topuria is on a John Jones run, an Anderson Silva run, a GSP run, a Khabib Nurmagomedov run. Dude's hyping up his aura. This is a grown man. What's next? They're going to start talking about rumors like Bo Nickel? Anyway, let's jump ahead. This next clip I'm going to show you is kind of similar to what he says on his Monday show, but we're going to play it anyway because I already have the timestamp. And he's crying about, well, why can't Islam just fight Topuria anyway? And then he can move up, win or lose. I mean, this is the dumbest thing I ever heard.
47. Yep.
47 is 47 days away, right? It's 47 days away. JDM was just in an absolute war. Why can't Islam fight Ilia in 47 days and then win or lose? His next fight is at 170. Why can't? There's one guy left, and it's.
Could you imagine if Islam lost to Topuria? Not that I'm saying it would happen. It could happen though. He's going to go up to 170 now and fight for double champ status. Yeah, I'm sure Ariel will advocate for that, right? I'm sure he would advocate for that, right? That makes absolutely no sense. That would literally kill the fight. Why doesn't Aspinall fight all the top 5 guys before finally getting a crack at John Jones? Why doesn't he do that? Oh, because if he loses, then it loses the John Jones fight, which may not happen anyway. It literally makes no sense, but let's carry on.
It's such a gigantic fight. It's the second biggest fight that the UFC could put on. Some might say the biggest, given how popular they both are. Why can't he fight in 47 days? If Belal was going to win tonight, if what we're being told is accurate, he was going to fight in 47 days. So why can't we get that fight in 47 days?
By the way, if what we're being told is accurate, well, who's been reporting that? Oh, it's the guy that got mad that I pointed out that he worked for Ilia Topuria and Ilia Topuria was his source. Therefore, you had to take it with a grain of salt. Oh, Ariel's pointing out the same thing, if it was accurate. But also, why would Islam take the Topuria fight in 47 days? Even if he wins, he could suffer an injury during fight camp. He could suffer an injury during the fight. He could suffer a cut. And then now they're going to hold up the welterweight title for him. Imagine he can't fight till December or January, February of next year. They're going to be like, well, JDM's got to fight somebody. You can't wait around. The champ's not going to wait around for Islam to try to become simultaneous double champ. You know how quick they would flip on him? But let's carry on.
You have now cleaned out the division, including 2 featherweight champions, and then move up and go after 170, either after losing the belt or you move up and get the second title. Why can't that happen? I don't understand. If you were already willing to fight in 47 days, if Belal would have won, you're telling me if a couple of judges scored it differently, you were fighting in 47 days? You know what I mean?
No, it's
That's
great
the part
point.
that I don't understand. If I'm the UFC, I'm kind of annoyed.
It makes zero sense. Why would Islam risk a double champ status fight? Even if he wins, I'm not even saying necessarily a loss. He could lose, but more than likely, a potential injury in the fight, and now he never gets the opportunity to become double champ. And if he loses, he's not going up and fighting for the welterweight title. It's just not happening. So it's just crazy to, I'm baffled. I'm trying to make sense of it. He's like, yeah, he can fight him anyway. No, because he could get injured and then not fight for the welterweight title. And also what really pisses me off and really grinds my gears, and I don't mean to drag this out because we have more to look at from Monday's show. Why are we advocating for Ilia Topuria like he's the undeniable number 1 contender? Where's this energy for Arman Tsarukyan? And I understand people are kind of forgetting about him because Dana already put him in the back of the line. But where is this for a Magomed Ankalaev or Belal on the way up when he didn't get his title shot? I mean, there's so many guys that get denied deserved title fights. Merab Dvalishvili. And here we are acting like Topuria has earned a lightweight title shot when he doesn't have a lightweight win. Well, he has a lightweight win, but it's against Jai Herbert years ago. It's irrelevant to today in terms of earning a lightweight title shot. They're acting like, man, what about Topuria, man? He's getting screwed in all this. Just for full clarity, and if you watch the channel, you already know this. I want to see Islam Topuria. But Topuria acting like he's, I'm being done dirty. I deserve a title fight against Islam. No, you don't. Win a fight at lightweight first. or do some damage in featherweight. Defend your belt. How many times did Volkanovski defend his belt before he got the double champ status attempt? I think it was like 4 or 5 times right off the top of my head. Korean Zombie, Max Holloway twice, Yair Rodriguez. But that was after, right? That was after. I don't know. Maybe I'm forgetting one. Brian Ortega. Yeah, so it was probably 4. I think it was 4. And he went up and he didn't have to relinquish his belt. And Topuria has 1 title defense. Stop acting like he's owed this lightweight title shot. It's disturbing. Next clip we're going to get to is him talking about Topuria's team. Topuria's team wasn't very happy because it wasn't announced on Saturday night. But that just goes to show the negotiations are ongoing with Islam Makhachev.
Yeah, I checked in with Ilia's team this evening asking, do you guys think you're going to like get the official announcement tonight? And they said, nah, probably not. Maybe early next week. I'm like, golly, this is like the longest freaking story saga of all time. In case you're wondering, Dana White has not appeared at the post-fight press conference yet. So perhaps.
So Topuria, the one who's giving that reporter news, that fanboy reporter to report, he doesn't even know what's going on. He knows generally what's going on, but we still don't have anything official. They knew that it wasn't going to be announced on Saturday night. Anyway, let's get to Monday's show, because this Monday show really started to drive me nuts. This dude is really, this little piece of shit is being like a fucking woman and trying to contrive and finagle some type of weird beef between Belal Muhammad and Islam Makhachev with misleading information. And he's also still campaigning for Islam to vacate his belt, which we'll get to again in a second. Listen to this.
And there's obviously a ton of intrigue as to what's next. Because in the seconds after the fight, look, I've never bought this Islam and Belal are best friend stuff. I'm sorry if that offends anyone. I've never bought it.
That offends me because nobody ever said they were best friends, you dumb fuck. They said, oh, we'd rather not fight each other since we train together. Doesn't seem like a problem to me, considering Islam's never asked to go up before now and Belal's not the champion anymore. But he has to get that little snaky remark. Oh, Islam's tweeting out, he wants to become double champ. Well, what if he would have tweeted out, I'm getting revenge for Belal? Ariel would have been like, oh my God, I don't know what to do. He's manufacturing this weird narrative that Islam is some type of snake to Belal. Like he somehow poisoned him, or he was actively, in a video reaction, cheering for JDM to win. No, he was just watching because fights people lose all the time, and he has aspirations as a double champ. So stop trying to manufacture. And this gets worse. He keeps taking little subtle pot shots.
And case in point, literally seconds after they say and new, Islam's tweeting about fighting Jack. Now, is it Islam? Is he up at 7 in the morning watching this? I don't know. But he seemed pretty happy about the result.
What a dumbass. He seemed pretty happy. He just said time to become double champ. Yeah, he's jumping for joy that his boy Belal lost. He can be sad for Belal losing and can still want to become double champ. Again, makes no sense. And then he misrepresents the facts. And as soon as I heard this, I said, let me go fact check this and see if it's actually true. And it turns out it's not true. But we'll get to it in a second.
Maybe someone told him, or maybe the person that tweeted it afterwards said, oh, wait a second, maybe I should show some love for my quote unquote brother. So then he tweets, head up. And then he goes back to tweeting about Jack, saying he's going for that second title. You are not Volk. I will show you different level. Keep my belt clean. Now, the question that I still don't understand on this Monday, because we had joked that Dana White was going to show up.
Okay. We'll stop it right there. Oh, well, he tweeted about Jack, and then he said, oh, no, let me scramble around and tweet something about Belal. I was like, you know what? Let me actually check that out. Here's the tweets that he showed. Time to go become double champ. Inshallah, let's go. 1:36 a.m. May 11th, 2025. 1:36 a.m. And then, all of a sudden, he tweets about Belal because he's like, oh, no, I better tweet about Belal. Okay, well, let's go look. Bully B, 170, head up, champ. 1:32 a.m. 1:32 a.m., 1:36 a.m. Now, to be fair to Ariel, this could just be a mistake, but when I heard him say this, I said, let me actually go check and, use critical thinking skills and use media literacy. Let me just go see for myself. And I did see that Makhachev actually tweeted it out twice. So he tweeted out to Belal twice, once being at 132, once being at 138, with the time to become double champ at 136. So it's not even true that he acknowledged the double champ status first. He acknowledged Belal first. Now, maybe some people didn't see it. This was the more liked tweet. This was the more shared tweet. So maybe Ariel was just confused, or he didn't see it, or he didn't bother to check for himself. Or maybe he just wanted to manufacture some weird fake beef between Belal and Islam, which he tries to more in a little bit. It gets even worse. He keeps taking pot shots. But let's carry on with what he's saying, because he goes in a little bit more.
At the press conference with a piece of paper and say, all right, as a result of Saturday night, as a result of this result, as a result of this main event result, here's the headliner for 317.
All right, so we all know that Dana White did not do that. Let's jump ahead, because there's more. He starts talking about how Islam has to vacate his title. And why can't Islam fight Topuria anyway?
Islam versus Ilia. That fight is in, I think, if my math is correct, something like 46 days. That date is in 46 days. And then, win or lose, Islam walks on. He goes to 170.
I know I've already beat this dead horse, so I'm not going to spend much time on it. If Islam loses to Topuria, he's not going up. He's not going up and getting double champ status or attempted double champ status. It's just not happening. It makes zero sense, and it kills off the buzz for that fight.
It's not like Jack's fighting in a month and a half, and it's not like fighting in a month and a half puts you on a different timeline. It's literally in a month and a half.
Did he really have to think about that? So it puts you a month and a half off the same timeline. So if Jack wants to return in the fall and Islam fights in late June, then it could disrupt a potential title fight for the welterweight title when Islam just fought in January anyway. So it's not that big of a deal if Islam waits it out till August or September for a potential fight with JDM. So why would you risk that for Ilia Topuria, who has one title defense? Makes no sense.
It's pretty darn close. Like, if you fight on June 28th, you can easily come back in October, November. So that's the part that I don't want to get. And Islam said late last week, hey, I'm going to move to 170 if the results kind of, swing my way, i.e. his friend losing. But I'm going to keep
another pot shot. If the results swing my way, i.e. my friend. Like, Islam waiting to see what happens in the welterweight title picture is somehow betraying a training partner that he never claimed to be best friends with. They're just friends and they've trained together. And Ariel's acting like this is some ultimate betrayal because Islam wants to fight somebody that Belal lost to. Bilal's not even in talks to get a rematch, which he's not going to be. It wouldn't make any sense. So Ariel is acting like Islam's stealing a title fight from him, even though that's not even close to being the case. But all right.
Keep my title. Again, I refuse to believe that Ilia is fighting for an interim title or a number one contender fight.
Well, you better start believing, you dumb bitch. This shit really drove me nuts. This shit really drove me. I refuse to believe. Why are you sucking off Ilia Topuria so much? I really don't get it. One title defense. One title defense, and this dude's acting like he put in Anderson Silva, GSP, John Jones, Jose Aldo type of work. I refuse to believe Ilia, with 2 good wins in his entire career, would have to earn a lightweight title shot. Imagine if Islam, who did he beat in his first title defense? Alexander Volkanovski, the pound-for-pound number 1 guy. Imagine had he demanded a 170 shot right then and there. You think Ariel's reaction would be like, oh yeah, he deserves it for sure. He deserves it for sure. Give it to him. Give it to him for sure. No, and they're acting like Topuria's a deserving contender. He refuses to believe. What a fucking clown, man. I'm replaying that just because it pisses me off.
Swing my way, i.e. his friend losing, but I'm going to keep my title. Again, I refuse to believe that Ilia is fighting for an interim title or a number one contender fight. And especially when, as of right now, they don't have a main event for International Fight Week. According to what I'm hearing, what Magomed Ankalaev tweeted was in fact accurate. They did in fact call Alex Pereira and say, hey, we want you to fight Magomed Ankalaev.
I told you guys this like a month ago. I told you guys the UFC likes to throw all these different feelers out to see who's willing to accept, so they have multiple plans. But it's just crazy to me, man. Ariel really riding Ilia Topuria. Like somehow, what really drives me nuts, and let me get this tweet off the screen. Let me go back to him with his hands up in the air. Where is it at? Where is it at? He refuses to believe. Of course, it didn't do it. You got to be kidding me. Let's play it again.
Swing my way, i.e. his friend losing, but I'm going to keep my title. Again, I refuse.
Look at this. I might use this in the thumbnail. You know, people used to tell me, Ariel's so biased against Muslims. And I was like, I don't really know. I just think he's dumb. I also think he hates Ali, so he hates Ali's fighters. I'm convinced now. Ariel doesn't like Muslim fighters. He's acting like Islam betrayed Belal and was jumping up and down like a schoolgirl when Belal lost. That's what Ariel was doing for sure. And now he's acting like Islam owes something to Ilia. It's just insane to me. It's embarrassing. It's snaky. It's weaselly. And it really drives me nuts. He refuses to believe that Ilia Topuria should have to fight for an interim title because Ilia has one title defense. I feel like I'm repeating myself too much, boys. There's going to be people complaining down in the comments. Ariel is a complete idiot. He's one of the biggest names in the sport. And I'm tired of these dumb ass narratives. And the reason I'm sick of this one in particular, and I already told you guys this in the beginning, is this is going to be a narrative that catches on. Okay? People are already saying Islam's ducking Topuria because he wants to go up and fight Jack Della Maddalena, who's a tougher matchup than Ilia Topuria. But yet, Ilia Topuria didn't duck Gene Silva or Movsar Evloev or Alexander Volkanovski rematch when he only has one title defense. Ilia's not ducking, but somehow Islam's ducking because he wants to go up and try to become double champ and wants to become simultaneous double champ. Now, we don't know what's going to happen. Islam could vacate the lightweight belt. I have a sneaking suspicion he's not. And it's going to be Oliveira versus Topuria for the interim lightweight title at UFC 317. Islam's going to have the opportunity to become simultaneous double champ, which he deserves. 4 title defenses, pound for pound number 1, 15-fight unbeaten streak. He deserves that opportunity. And clowns like Ariel and everyone else is going to cry and say, look, Islam stabbed Belal in the back, and now he's not even relinquishing his title. He's holding up divisions. And they're going to cry, and they're going to clutch their pearls, and it's going to be super annoying. So let me know what you guys think down in the comments. I would really appreciate it. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. Am I being overdramatic, or is this ridiculous? If Islam truly wants to become simultaneous double champ, which I think means more, maybe he goes back down and defends it. Imagine, here's what I'll end the video on. Imagine Islam goes up, beats JDM, wins the welterweight title. He's now simultaneous double champ. In the meantime, Ilia Topuria beats Charles Oliveira, becomes the interim lightweight champion. Islam goes back down to lightweight to fight Ilia Topuria, defend his lightweight title. Is that not the biggest fight in UFC history at that point? I think it would be. Ilia would have earned his shot. Islam got what he wanted. We still got a banger fight for UFC 317. And by the way, what's crazy to me, and let me jump back on screen. I said it right first time. Why are we acting like Oliveira deserves a title shot? I love Oliveira. I'm an Oliveira fanboy almost. He's on a 1-fight win streak against Michael Chandler. Paddy Pimblett deserves a title shot more than Charles Oliveira. So save me the outrage. How can Oliveira not get his title shot? He's on a 1-fight win streak. So stop acting. Topuria, 1 title defense, 0 or 1 win against Jai Herbert years ago. Oliveira, 1 win over embarrassing soy boy beta crybaby Conor McGregor's little bitch Michael Chandler. See you at the top, boy. I got 1 boy on my mind, 1 dude on my mind. He's got 1 win over that guy, that washed up piece of shit. And somehow that's earned Oliveira a title shot. So just stop it. It's looking ridiculous. Islam cleaned out his division already, other than Arman, who apparently isn't getting a title shot. He's pound for pound number 1, 15-fight unbeaten streak, if my numbers are correct. And he's defended his belt 4 times. He deserves the opportunity to go up and fight for simultaneous double champ, even if he immediately relinquishes afterwards and they can elevate the interim champ to undisputed champ. That's what I think. Let me know what you guys think. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.